My father grew up on a farm far back in the mountains of North Carolina. He grew up through the Depression and then ended up working in town at the bank. He actually, in that little county seat town of Waynesville, North Carolina, my father was the loan department. And it took me a long time to figure out that's why all my teachers were good to me. Even though we didn't have any money, if you needed to borrow money for anything, you had to talk to my dad. Well, between growing up on a farm during the Depression and then working in the bank, he thought he needed to teach me about money. So even when I was a little boy, he began to show me all the little ways you can earn some money. We would go up and down the roadsides in those days when they never mowed the roadsides, and we would look for those old, thick, green glass Coca-Cola bottles. You could turn them in and get 2 cents each for them. We would go through the closets and take my mother's clothing off of the good coat hangers. Because if I collected 100 coat hangers that were not bent and not rusty, I could get $1 for 100 coat hangers. He told me that if I threatened to fail and be back in the same teacher's room the next year, they would hire me to mow their yard if I would promise to pass. No matter how many ways I made little bits of money, my daddy would say, "Son, remember, this is not a real job." I would say, "Why not?" He would say, "Because you get money for it." I thought, isn't that the whole idea? He said, no. It's not a real job until you work and then you wait for a check. I thought I'd rather just get money. I could spend it on the way home. Well, finally I was graduating from high school, and that summer I got my first real job. I was working in a bookstore making minimum wage, and about every 2 or 3 hours, I would ease over on the side and figure up how much money I'd made so far because it was already spent in my mind. So when the end of that week came and I had to wait from Friday till Tuesday, I knew exactly to the penny how much that check was going to be. Till it got there. And then I opened the envelope and about a third of it was missing. And that's when I learned about, you know what? Taxes. I said to my daddy, "I don't like real jobs. They steal your money." He said, "No, they didn't steal your money. Look at the little stub. They just took out the taxes." I said, "What for?" He said, "Son, listen, they need your taxes. They need to build schools. They need to pave roads." I said, "I just finished school. And you never let me drive the car. I don't care if the roads are paved." Well, my father did not want me to be discouraged by the tax business. So one day when he came home, I still do not know where he found this. He came in the door and he dropped something kabam on the Formica tabletop. He said, "Look, I brought you something to read." 35 pounds. A bound printed copy of the federal budget. My dad said, "I want you to read this till you come to something you like. Because there are going to be things you like in there. And here's what you do. When you come to something you like, look down at the bottom of the page and see how much money they're going to spend on that one thing in 1 year. And you'll understand that in your whole lifetime, you will never pay that much in taxes." So when you pick that one thing that you like, carefully tear that page out. At the bottom right, "This belongs to Donald Davis." Fold it up, put it in a drawer, and for the rest of your life, all the tax money you pay will go for that one thing that personally belongs to you. And that will make you feel better. You think it worked? Well, I'm going to tell you it did. Growing up in the mountains of North Carolina, where I grew up, we could look out our kitchen window and we could see the scar growing around Water Rock Knob, where they were building the last miles of the Blue Ridge Parkway toward its end in Cherokee. We could get in our car, and in 10 minutes, in 3 different directions, we could be inside the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So when I came to the National Park System, I tore that page out, wrote my name on it, and decided that all the taxes I paid for the rest of my life were going to make payments on national parks. I've now been doing that for 60 years. And so I figure they belong to me.